Hi, my name's Zach Wagner, and this is my story on how I became a yoga teacher.
I'm from Agora Hills, California. It's near Malibu. It's a suburb of LA. I started skating when I was 10. I skated in my driveway in my garage for endless hours. I skated my flat bar in my front yard in my cul-de-sac for years, getting every trick on lock. And I grew up going to skate lab. My mom would drive me to skate lab and I would stay there from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on the weekends, 12-hour sessions all day. Yeah, I was even skating with Tori Pudwell and Justin Schulte back then as well when I was about 12 in castle contests. I started making sponsor me tapes right away. 13, 14, 15, skating. I was already kickflip front boarding handrails when I was like a young teenager, probably 14, 15, already kickflip front boarding like 7 stair rails, 9 stair rails. And my first sponsor was Val Surf. When I was 16 years old, I was in 10th grade. I gave my sponsor me tape to them, and Scott Mackey gave it to Brandon Richards, and Brandon told me to come into the North Hollywood store. And my mom and I went in there and he gave me a shirt and a deck, and I can get a shirt and a deck every month. Maybe it was 2 decks, something like that. It's really cool. And he told my mom that I should be homeschooled, and my mom was like, no way. So I've been sponsored by Val. I got a job there when I was 17. I worked there for 2 or 3 years. And I kept skating a lot, working on my sponsor me tapes. I would film in LA all the time. We had a tight crew at the time. It was Tyler Seachy, Mark Gutterman, Justin Schulte, Tori Pudwell, to name a few. That was like our tight crew for a few years, the good old boys. And we would meet up in the valley and go skate, street skate every day. Every day we would go somewhere, East LA, Venice, Santa Monica, downtown. We knew all the spots. We got every spot. And so I kept making my sponsor me tapes. I gave it to this guy. Kevin Lewis called me one day when I was working at Val Surf, and he asked me if I wanted to ride for Grind King. And I was like, sure, dude, just give me some trucks. I only rode indies, though. I think I just traded the trucks in for something else. But I just wanted the contact, and he was really nice. And then he got a job at Dwindle, and I started getting boards from Almost and Enjoy. And I never really thought I could get on either of those brands. I just really wanted to ride for Stereo. I even remember telling Schulte how much I wanted to ride for Stereo, because I felt like I could actually get on the team, and it was really stylish, cool company. So Kevin Lewis ended up working at Stereo, and I gave them my tape, a new sponsor me tape that Tyler Seachy made for me, and my friend Hayden was starting to work at Stereo too, and so I gave them my tape. Chris Pastras saw the tape, and he said, wow, this guy is good enough to be AM for us. That's exactly what he said, I remember. And from there, boom, I started getting boards. Chris called me up to go skate at Griffith Park one day, and I showed up at Griffith Park, and it was Pastras, Alex Olson, Dylan Reeder, Greg Hunt, and I was just like, oh my God, I was such a fan. I was only like 19 at this time. I was still a teenager. And I was skating with these people who were already super cool in the magazine, or people already who I looked up to, even though they were like my same age. So Chris started giving me boards, and they took me to San Francisco. Stereo was like, hey, you want to come to San Francisco for this 15-year anniversary party? And I was like, oh my God, what a dream come true. I'm in the car with Benny Fairfax and Danny Renaud and Dyson Ramon and Daniel Shimizu and Tony Silva and Ollie Todd, Jason Lee. I couldn't believe it. I got to where I wanted to be. I was skating with the people I wanted to skate it with. And we're skating around downtown one day, and Chris drives by and he sees us. And he's like, hey, Zach, your part in the video is looking really cool. And I was like, what is he talking about? I thought it would be in the flow section in the DVD bonus side or something. So we end up going to the 15-year anniversary party that night, and they have this like a little promo. It was called A Journey Through Sound. And I have an introduction part with a few tricks, and my mind was blown. I could not believe it. It was one of the most stoked out moments of my life, being in the video with these same people, with Jason Lee and Clint Peterson and super awesome pro skaters. And I could be on the same level as them, and I was accepted by them. And that's all I was really looking for, was acceptance from my peers and people who were professional. And I ended up riding for Stereo from 19, 20, and 21. So from like 2006 to 2000, the end of 2008. And that was a really good time in my life. It was really fun. I got to go on a few trips with them and they gave me a full video part called Stereo Field Report with Dice Ramones, and they put out a video, 5,000 DVDs that came with a skateboard mag, and there was a premiere at Hensley's Bar in San Diego. It was so cool. Exactly what I wanted to do, I was accomplishing, and I thought I was definitely going to be pro. There was no doubt about it. The 2008 recession hit and everything just stopped. People weren't buying things. The skateboard industry died again. And I got kicked off the team, not for not being good at skateboarding, just because of budget issues, really. So I didn't know what to do. My identity of being a sponsored skateboarder got taken away from me, and my ego was destroyed, which will happen to every athlete, by the way. Every athlete's career will end one day, and they will all have to deal with this change of identity. By this time I was already 22, and I've already been practicing yoga for a few years. I started practicing yoga when I was 18 because I knew it would give me better balance and endurance and athleticism. And I heard that some other cool pros like Kenny Reed did yoga, and he was a mystical person at the time to me, and he had an amazing style. So I wanted to try yoga. So I started practicing yoga at a gym in Thousand Oaks called Spectrum. And I took my first class there when I was 18 years old. And I never stopped. I practiced yoga every single day. I've been practicing yoga every single day for at least 1 hour for 13 years. Anyways, so after I got kicked off the team, my dad suggested to me that I should become a yoga teacher, but that was the furthest idea from my mind. All I wanted was that pro board. That's all I freaking wanted. So being a yoga teacher was the furthest thing from my mind. But I was broke. I had no money. I was living at home. I was a fucking loser. 22, no college education. What am I gonna do? So my dad found this yoga teacher training called Integral Yoga in the School of Swami Satchidananda in San Francisco. So I ended up moving up there for like 3 or 4 months, living in this yoga ashram with monks, waking up early at 6 a.m. for morning meditation, practicing yoga every single day, learning about all the philosophies of yoga practice, and was completely immersed in yoga and learning how to teach yoga to other people, which is a completely selfless, unselfish thing, completely different from skateboarding. Skateboarding is all about you and your ego and being the best and being cool and being in the magazine and the video and being worshipped by all the other kids, which is so lame. They're all just 12-year-olds that look up to you. So I took this training and I learned so much and became extremely confident in myself. And I went through a completely transformation. And I ended up coming back home from San Francisco and living with my parents again. And my dad told me, he's like, if you want to live here to build your yoga business, you can for a year, and you have to have 10 classes a week if you want to live here. So I said, okay, I'm on it. I went out and I found Agora Power of Yoga. There was an ad in Craigslist looking for Monday, Wednesday, 6 p.m. And I got the job, and I've been teaching there since 2009, and it's 2018 right now, and I've been there dedicated teaching endlessly. tirelessly, and I have found this peace through yoga, and especially through practicing Ashtanga yoga, that will pass anything that skateboarding ever gave me. Skateboarding taught me that when you fall, you get back up and you keep trying again, and it has allowed me to make my yoga business successful. Not every class is packed and full, but there will be another class tomorrow, and I will never give up, and I'll always keep teaching for the rest of my life. And I was teaching yoga for a few years, and I was pretty happy and content, but there's still something missing. I kind of completely stopped skating. I stopped hanging out with all my old skater friends, and one of my yoga students, this 50-year-old judge named Keith Scholner, came to my class for a while, and he asked me if I was into surfing, and I was like, I surfed in Waikiki once in warm water, and I had a good time, but I never surfed in California. It was cold, and I'm skinny, and I get cold easily at the time. Not anymore. So he took me surfing at Mondo's, and I felt like such a kook. I was wearing his daughter's wetsuit, and I was riding a soft top wave storm from Costco. I call it the lame storm. And I actually caught like 6 waves that day. It was a small, like 1 to 2 day in the winter. It was raining. And then it was on. The next week I bought my wetsuit, booties. I got a longboard at first, and then I rode for a month, and then I went down to a 6.0 after like 4 weeks. And after like 6 months, my paddle got strong. I learned how to read the wave, and I became obsessed with surfing and the way it made me feel, and how stoked I was, and how refreshing I felt after each session, and the tuning into the ocean and learning how to become one with nature in a sense has only helped my yoga and my spiritual practice tenfold. So now I live a pretty balanced life of teaching yoga 15 to 20 times a week, surfing when it's good. I try to surf every day for at least 1 hour, even if it's not good, just to get in the water and get grounded, and it's like a huge mineral bath, and getting all these minerals in my body and just enjoying the sun. And I find the cold to be a very powerful entity to learn how to become one with the cold as well. So I have my balanced life of teaching yoga and surfing and working on my paintings. So I'm very content and happy nowadays, much happier than I was trying to pursue becoming a professional skateboarder, even though I still love watching skateboarding and respect skateboarding. But that wasn't my path. My path is teaching yoga and helping people find the best version of themselves. So that's my story. Thank you for listening. Namaste.